Okay, let's make perfume. So, let's get the bottle ready. And get this pipette cleaned. And we're going to start with 28 drops of Sylvamber. So, in the last couple of perfumes I was using ISO E Super. Sylvamber is a similar material. There are others you could use as a substitute as well. But for this perfume, I'm going to use Sylvamber. It's actually my favorite out of all of those materials. I much prefer Sylvamber over ISO E Super. So let's start with 28 drops of Sylvamber. And one more for 28. Okay, that's the first oil. And let's see what we're going to add next. Next we're going to add 7 drops of Tobacco Absolute. Now this is a 2% dilution in ethanol. It smells really good. It smells like sweet pipe tobacco, so it's not very harsh. In full dilution it would be, but in this dilution it's very workable, very usable. So we're going to add 7 drops. Drops of Tobacco Absolute. Next we're going to add 7 drops of Suederol. Now Suederol, I believe, I initially thought it was just a molecule, but I think it's an actual accord, and I guess it smells like leather, but more so like the smell of a shoe shop or the inside of a brand new shoe. That's exactly what it smells like to me. And this is actually a dilution. This is a 10% dilution in DPG. It's quite a tenacious oil. You know, a little goes a long way, which is why I use it in dilution. It is quite nice in a 1% dilution. It's much sweeter, but I just want a little bit more of it in my perfume, but I don't want to add a full drop. So I'm just going to add 7 drops of the 10% dilution. That's 7 drops of that. Next we're going to add 4 drops of Peru Balsam. Okay. Now we will add 4 drops of Styrax Balsam. This is actually incredibly thick. Three and four. Now the next oil we're going to add is benzoin, and we're also going to add 4 drops. So that's benzoin. Did I forget? No, there it is. Benzoin. Okay, 4 drops of benzoin. Okay, what's next? Now we're going to add 4 drops of ethyl vanillin. If I can find what I've done with that. Ethyl, there we go. 4 drops. Concludes the base notes. Now we will move on to the heart, and I will begin with 28 drops of hedione, which I have left in the cabinet. So we'll quickly add 28 drops of this. Next we will add 7 drops of a rose accord. This is a mixture of natural rose, also with some molecules, and it's also in a 25% dilution, but I bought this oil as is. I didn't blend it myself or dilute it myself. So yeah, 7 drops of rose. You could use any other rose material, to be fair. Next, we're going to add 7 drops of a jasmine accord, and it's the same deal. It's a 25% dilution, and it's a mixture of real jasmine and some other molecules. So that's 7 drops of that. Next, we're going to add 4 drops of sweet fennel. fennel goes really nicely with rose. Next we're going to add 4 drops of rosemary, which also goes very nicely with rose. So that's the rosemary. What else have we got in the heart? And we've got a little bit of lavender. We're going to add 2 drops of lavender. Well, I suppose you could argue the lavender, I would actually say, leans a bit more to the top. And we have lavandin in this formula, which will actually be in the heart. So we'll keep the lavender for the top, and we'll add the 2 drops of lavandin now. So how lavandin came about was 2 different types of lavender growing side by side, and then they cross-pollinated, and then you have lavandin, which is a little bit sweeter. There's a noticeable difference between the two. Lavandin you can use in the top, but lavandin is definitely a heart note, whereas lavender can be used in the top as well as the heart. So that's lavandin. Now what have we got next? Lavandin, and I'm also going to add 3 drops of padma to the heart. Padma is a really interesting molecule. It's one of my favorites, and it has a flower stem aroma. However, it definitely smells like incense, so think of something like Nag Champa incense. So you could definitely use this in an incense accord. I would say though, use in moderation. I've used it in several perfumes where I haven't liked the outcome, and I've liked it initially, but once the perfume has matured, and definitely when I'm macerating it in alcohol, it definitely seems to change. And I've made a few perfumes that end up smelling more like a bunch of flowers, and not in a good way. So I would advise some caution when using this material. A little definitely goes a long way, but yeah, it's a great smell. And we're going to add 3 drops. And I do think that the Padma really shines in this perfume. It really does come through. Yeah, we're going to also add 2 drops of lilial to the heart. 2 drops of lilial. And lilial is a great smell. Very, very beautiful. And I'm just looking at my notes, and I realize that I've actually forgotten to add some lyryl to the base. So now we're going to add 2 drops of lyryl, but it is for the base notes. So did I get lyryl out? Yes, I did. Lyryl. Okay, 2 drops of lyryl. A similar material to lilial, but Lyral is a base note and Lilial is a heart note. Okay, and now we can go to the heart, to the top. That is the base complete, the heart is complete, and now we can move on to the top. So we're going to start with 3 drops of Undercavatol. Undercavatol is a violet material and is one of my favorites. I really do like it. It's green and it's also very beautiful. I really like it. It's very fresh and quite tenacious, I find, in a perfume. You know, you add a few drops, you can. I like to use it in a way that it's sort of. I like to really blend it into the other oils. I think if you add just a little bit too much, it ends up just sticking out. And you know, it just sort of stays separate. So I would also advise you know, some caution when using Undercavatol. Add a little bit, see what you think. Add a little bit more if you really like it, but I really like it. So 3 drops. Next we're going to add 2 drops of Mahagonate. Now Mahagonate is also a material that has this violet aspect, but it's quite a complex smell. I don't know how to describe it best, but I could definitely picture this in a Fahrenheit code. So that might give you a little idea as to how it smells. We're going to add 2 drops of that Mahagonate. And next we're going to add 3 drops of cardamom. And now we're going to add 10 drops of bergamot. And now we're going to add 2 drops of dihydromercenol. Dihydromercenol. Here we go. Now this is basically a lemon and lime punch in the face. That's what dihydromercenol smells like. But it has some real freshness to it. And now we can add the not the lavandin, we added that to the heart. Now we can add the lavender. So we're going to add 2 drops. At this point in the video, my memory card maxed out and my camera stopped recording, but I only had one more oil to add, and that was L Carvone. L Carvone is a spearmint molecule, but feel free to use spearmint essential oil or something similar. I added 2 drops of L Carvone. I chose L Carvone over a spearmint essential oil because I just thought it would work best in this perfume. I can't really explain it better than that. It's just a smell thing. So if you smell L Carvone and you smell spearmint essential oil and you smell the concentrate thus far, you could probably see what I mean. I really want to make 2 30ml bottles, so I basically trebled the perfume formula and I divided the weight of the perfume oils by 60 milliliters, and that gave me a percentage of 18. So I'm basically making 2 30ml bottles of perfume at an 18% strength.